I assume by now that you've all probably heard of the situation that happened at the Trump rally recently in Pennsylvania, but if you haven't, I'll catch you all up to speed. So recently, Donald Trump went to Pennsylvania for a Trump rally, I guess, and while he was speaking there, gunshots were fired at him in an attempt to assassinate him, and he was able to get out of that. He was fine, from what I understand. He was shot, but it didn't hit him anywhere like where it would cause like severe injury, I think. It hit him. He says that it skinned like that he got hit in the top part of his right ear, so it was very close. I mean, he could not have gotten closer to be killed in an instant. But but he was fine from what I understand. But sadly, some people who were listening to the speech weren't so lucky. Someone in the audience was hit by a stray, I guess, and killed. And another person was also shot, but they didn't die. They were just severely injured, which is very, again, I mean, it's very sad to see that happen, but I mean, there's really not much to say about it. I mean, it is very sad, and they did not deserve this whatsoever. And apparently, the shooter is also dead. From what I didn't see, I wasn't able to find any information on them when when I looked into it, but I didn't look into it for that long. So, I don't take my word for it. Here's the clip now.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. Oh.
So as you can see, the Secret Service members like actually saved him. They all jumped on top of him, as you can see in the clip. And it's honestly really crazy to think about. You really have to think what happened, like what would have happened if this assassination attempt was successful. I mean, that would have been, what would the country be like? Because I mean, I feel like nowadays when it comes to politics, you're either a Trump supporter or Biden, and like either, I mean, that really, if you think about it at its core, it's just you hate one or you hate the other. I mean, that's from what I understand. Joe Biden also went on to talk about this, and I honestly kind of expected him to start, making fun of him or making jokes about it. Like I half expected that, but he didn't do that. He showed some respect towards him. He said that it was a very sick thing and that there was no place in America for this kind of, these kind of actions. Which I mean, that's a very respectful thing, but I mean, I don't know. There's a good chance he wasn't being very genuine in this statement. But yeah, it's a very crazy situation. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the another assassination attempt that happened to Theodore Roosevelt. For those of you who don't know what happens, he was giving a speech, but instead of someone tried to assassinate him, but instead of him getting hit and getting mildly injured from it, he was shot like in his torso area, I think, and he just completely ate that shot, and then he proceeded to say that he was fine and continued on giving a speech. He actually just tanked that. I don't know if it was like a direct. I think it said something. I don't remember exactly how it happened, so you'd have to look into it yourself. But yeah, it's a very crazy situation. Really, I just was made aware of it yesterday. Um, Donald Trump himself, he said that he was fine, but like when he made the statement, he was going to see a doctor. So I guess he may not be. I assume he's all right because it's just like his ear. But I mean but you really just have to ask yourself, like, what would have happened if this assassination attempt was successful? I mean, that would have been. I mean, that it's kind of a scary thing to think of. I mean, what would have happened to the country? Like, what would have happened, for like people? I mean, like, what would people have thought? How would people have reacted? It's also just a very, very crazy situation. And I mean, I don't really have an opinion on politics. I don't really have an opinion, but I mean, thankfully he was okay. I don't think anyone deserves just to be assassinated just because you disagree with them, which I assume is the reason. I don't know anything about the shooter. I mean, I assume that he's a Biden supporter. I mean, if he wasn't, that'd be very surprising to me. But yeah, there's not a whole lot else to say about this, but it's really sad what happened to the the innocent people who were just in the crowd who who were just hit by strays. I mean, the person who died, it's honestly genuinely just so sad because I mean, that's just sad. But yeah, thankfully the other person who was shot, thankfully they survived. But I think from what I understand, what from what I understand about it and from what I heard, they were severely injured. But from what I understand, they are alive. So thankfully they weren't injured enough to be killed. But again, still very sad. So yeah, I think that's really all there is to say. I don't know. There's one thing I do want to mention actually before I end this video off. It's that I don't know if there's going to be a podcast episode this weekend. I think we kind of just like forgot about it. So if there isn't one this weekend, I think we'll be able to do one next weekend if we pre-record it because we're all going to be busy next weekend. I know this just isn't the right video to talk about this. This may not be the best video to talk about this about the podcast, but yeah, I think that's really all there is to say. So yeah, see ya.